I was just in Wisconsin, and I played like a solo show at the Eau Claire's. There it is. There we go. I gotta get right in there. At a festival there, and I was playing like solo with the acoustic, and it was like the first time I had done that in a minute, and it was. Anyway, long story short, I found myself reaching out to the audience to do like ye old call and response style thing on some of these songs, because I feel like it's behooves the material, and it's also fun. So, would you guys want to sing some stuff with me? That'd be cool. You don't have to if you don't want to. But the only word that you need to sing is now. So when I go now, you go now. And I'll be saying now. And you guys are like now. And then the other way that I sing now is now. And then you guys would maybe sing now. Could we try it? Yeah. Okay, rad. So I'm like now. Yeah, yes. But it's like faster than this. It's like now. Wow, there's my voice. There's the plane. Right now. Right now. Now, right now. Yes, that's totally it. Okay, rad. That's cool. Okay, so the first song is called Right Now. It is, thank you. For my next number. Okay, so it's the first song on the album, so. The sky has darkened, earth turned to hell. Some said a light God shined where darkness dwelled. So I won't cry or collapse, overwhelmed. Time like a song just might rhyme with itself. I don't know how I'm gonna be a better man. I don't know how I'm gonna reach the promised land. I don't know how I'm gonna get you to take my hand. But I'm gonna try, and I know when. Now, right now. Now, right now, 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 now, right now. Nice. Soon the earth may dissolve like snow. We'll meet again in the air, all bound to glow. And I am glad that I got to know. I might sing the melody, but I don't set the tempo. Who draws the true straw from the fist that's clasped? Who pulls the new rope through the loopholes of the past? Better hurry up, for the first shall be the last. Better sound the trumpet before the blast. Now, right now, 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 You pulled me up when you took my hand. There was silence in my heart, and now I'm striking up the band. They lit the bonfire, but now we can light the lamp. Now, right now, now, right now, right now, 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 now, now. Thank you guys. Definitely, yeah, got like 2 hours of sleep last night. That was like the syrup version of the song. Oh yeah, I was kind of feeling that. Okay. Can you guys all vaguely hear this in the back, or not even?
Yeah, needs more louder.
Okay. Because I was thinking maybe we could just disregard the mics as well and do it like 2002 style. But maybe we can, if we can get the guitar out a little louder. Okay. Who'll stop wasting the lives of the bred based on a lie? Who will stop wasting the forests and seas? We know what'll survive. Who will stop wasting the time? Who will stop putting quarters upon our eyes? Who will not place himself higher than we for a senator's prize? We wander out wild-eyed, kinda drunk and kinda high. We know what for and why. That's all, that's all, that's all. 'Cause the monster eats its young till they're gone, gone, gone. And the rules are there to head, and that's the way it's done. Yeah, the monster eats its young till they're gone, gone, gone. Till it's satisfied and done. It wants blood, blood, blood. Who could look up from the numbers and say something ain't right? Who could disrupt the abundance and pray, not for weight but for life? How could we risk the empire as the apprentice descends into seasons of idle, when an old white Lincoln encrypted and high sputters down from the sky, red-eyed in July? We've been black hole. We wander out like kinda drunk and kinda high. We know what for and why. That's all, that's all, that's all. 'Cause the monster eats its young till they're gone, gone, gone. And the rules are there to hurt, and that's the way it's done. Yeah, the monster eats its young till they're gone, gone, gone. Till it's satisfied and done. It wants blood, blood, blood. When the predator dips out from the haze, who knows the price? When the words mercy and justice are raised, do you think they'll apply? How could we count all the signs? When are we finally not let fear weaponize? When all the courage to breathe and let brave assure the brand will survive? 'Cause the monster eats its young till they're gone, gone, gone. And the rules Thanks. Ask now, I'm in love for the first time ever. The universe becomes my mom and my dad. A hand in a glove on a joint adventure, moving toward our own Goldilocks planet. 'Cause when everyone latched like auto-tune into the grid that they all just assumed was not a map of the universe. They just misplaced the pure wave that is you, but I found it in you. 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 Everybody wants the same chimera. Everyone hungry, but honey, get off the feet. Salt to the sea and the salt of Sierra. I reach two birds and then they preach back to me. And in hindsight, the alienation, all the painful dreams I failed to extinguish, were the footlights down dark aisles I've taken. Now they've led me to you, and I'm singing, I found it in you. 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 I found And when we met, there were alien hosts on us, thrown from the heavens like Prince and Nirvana, like braided brooks, tides, woven oceans, like the trees interlaid with explosions of bird song as they're singing to me. Down to earth in the land of the free. In the new time that you've given to me, I found it in you. 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 I found Thanks. Thank you. Those are my songs. Thanks. So yeah, I think we're gonna do like a Q&A.
Yeah, if you've got questions at all, please raise your hand and I'll come over to you with a microphone and we'll just do some dialoguing.
So the title of the new album is Lit Prose, and I think those words really heavily imply like a written kind of dialect, you know, just written words, and I'd like to think it's more than serendipitous PR coincidence that we're having this event in Strand Bookstore, and I'd like to ask, what kind of prose do you think really influenced this new album? What were some inspirations, if any?
Yeah, I tend to arrive at titles pretty like intuitively. Okay. I don't always like really know why. And honestly, I haven't been reading a lot. I've been like working on music, and yeah,
that's fair.
I wanna read again. I bought a New Yorker at the airport today.
That's a start. We're also here, so that's also good.
Right. It did feel like right to be at the Strand, and like I moved to LA a couple of years ago, and it's been awesome for like working on music and stuff. But I like miss New York, and so to be here at like this kind of like New York institution feels, I don't know, feels good.
I'll come on around to you here.
Hi, Dave. I have so many questions, but for the sake of everybody here, I'll keep it short. I just wanted to ask two. The first one was, do you consider yourself a maximalist? And the second is, well, again, so many questions, but I'll pick another one. Do you have any idea how many people really enjoy your music?
I try not to think about it. No. As far as the maximalism, I guess I'm really like agnostic about all that stuff. So sometimes minimalism is like exactly the thing that a song or a production seems to want, and then other times I could probably stand to be a better editor, more ruthless with my ideas, and things end up real maximal. But I like that aesthetic as well.
Hi. I have a question about kind of the way that you make your compositions. Do you find that it's mostly like you sitting down with a guitar, or like half production? Because like something like Breakthrough is very like heavily reliant on like the different timbres, I think, and like I don't know.
Yeah. I used to write like predominantly just with the guitar, sitting down in a chair or whatever, and then I think wherever one may sit, really. Like I guess I've tried to keep myself on my toes in the last couple of years, just like doing different stuff. I've been writing a lot on the like Wurlitzer, and something I started doing a bunch with the self-titled record is for things that start in the computer. If you start from a beat or something, and then just freestyle over it endlessly, and then edit, call down from there, or and then you can do the same thing with instruments as well. So with Breakthrough, I had that beat, and then I was just playing guitar over it, and then the crazy the Wurlitzer thing, it was like totally different time, and I had forgotten about the guitar riff, and then they layered over each other kind of nicely. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
As far as I know, I don't think you've ever done any soundtrack work. Is that something that you have any interest in, or
yeah, definitely.
Have you been offered to put any of your songs in movies? And
I think there have been some songs like in movies. Actually, my sister-in-law's movie, 6 Years, from a couple of years ago, closes with Impregnable Question. But yeah, I would love to do it. Like a bunch of years ago, we had the opportunity to make this weird little short film around the release of Swing Low Magellan, and it was really cool the way the moving image and the sound are interacting. I would love to do more of that.
also, any anecdotes about the Dear Nora record? I know you're only on there for like a brief moment, but it's an amazing album. So
I know. I love the record. I've been listening to it as I like do the Stairmaster. It's a good workout record. Yeah.
Did you have a question? Someone over here. You.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
I've been such a fan of yours since the days of Rise Above and Getty Address.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
And you do a lot of different cool things now. And you moved out to LA, like you said, and work with some really big people. And you're a really big person to many of us here, I'm sure. But how do you feel about your own music and the whole Dirty Projectors project today, now that you work with people like Kanye West? And do you feel relieved to get back to it? Do you feel like it's a safe haven for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I like, it was really interesting to go and like write and produce with other people for a bit after Swing Low. After Swing Low, I was just sort of like, well, what's the point? I was like burned out. I guess that's what that is. And so to like just reinvent how I interacted with music and how I made it, and everything was really, really fresh, and I learned so much in all of those various collaborations and stuff. And then I think I got to a place where I was sort of like, I felt like, oh, like I love writing music. I love writing songs. I love coming up with different ways, that music and words interact, and different elements of a production fit together. That's what I love to do. And so to come back to it with like that awareness was, I don't know, it was great. So yeah. So I guess in short answer to your question, yeah, I feel really good about like being back into like, also just doing stuff like honestly like this, and getting to like talk to people and stuff like that. I feel excited about it right now.
Is there like a specific composer whose harmony you feel like you've really checked out a lot? Maybe name one or two.
Just one?
Or as much as you want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or like your whole harmonic concept or something, whatever.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, again, I guess it really depends on a specific moment or something like that, but like...
I guess like classical stuff.
Yeah.
Like earlier on, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Stravinsky. I love Stravinsky.
Mm-hmm.
I love those like, stacked fourths and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of that, yeah.
Yeah. Like I could like it's not really as applicable to my own writing because, but like the micropolyphony of Ligeti, and the places that he goes harmonically, and also just texturally as an arranger and everything are just, I love them so much. I love to live in those worlds, and it would be cool to figure out more how to import some of that vocabulary, but yeah, maybe later.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, hey, Shelley.
Hi. I'm going to ask a question from Facebook. There's people chiming in.
Wow.
With questions. Very modern. Jessie Gillen Walters would like to know, how did you first get started playing those very intricate guitar lines of yours? They come off as almost instinctual now. I don't know. I think one thing is like, I even as a songwriter, I'm often just sort of like, okay, well I did that, but like now I want to do something harder. And I feel like I'm constantly trying to like not necessarily in terms of like technical anything technical or anything like that, but I'm constantly like trying to like one up myself, just like any writer. And so I don't know, maybe an application of that sensibility to guitar playing leads to that kind of like intricate stuff. Sometimes with the earlier things, we would be on tour for a really long time, and over several weeks, just a couple more notes would get added, and then you'd go on another tour, and a couple more notes would get added. So some of it is cumulative.
I just have to ask, what does it feel like to just have the ultimate nod from Paul McCartney as an artist?
It's crazy. Yeah, Paul is like, yeah. What do you even say to that?
Like, did you wake up and were you like, oh my God?
Well, I guess, yeah. I don't really yeah, it's really cool. I still haven't met him. So, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe someday I will. Did you guys watch his carpool karaoke with James Corden? It's super good. And initially I was kind of bummed that Corden was having him play mostly really old Beatles music and stuff. But he seemed like he was really into it, and by the time it was just Hey Jude at that bar, I was just like, single tear. It was amazing.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm wondering about your decision making and how you make decisions as an artist and as a musician, and if that's changed over the course of your career, if it's gotten easier or anything.
I don't know. It's I don't really know. Do you mean what kind of decisions do you mean?
Like decisions in terms of the sound of your music, what to include, what not to include, how to edit, how to produce.
It's agonizing.
Yeah.
I do it with volume. I just keep on turning things up until suddenly I'm just like, all right, that has to go. That's gone. It's pretty. It's kind of irrational, I think.
Cool. Also, what have you been listening to?
Mississippi John Hurt a bunch. Lately, I've just been super into him. And Sly and the Family Stone. There's a riot going on, but also the earlier the singles from before that, when it was really bright, euphoric music.
Yeah, I'll take a question.
Shelley, could we get a question from Facebook, please?
Yeah. Anne Carr would like to know what is the most common misconception about your music?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess I've been doing it for a while, and I have not managed to fall into a kind of signature thing. I'm still trying to figure out, what the sound of it all is. And so, when you've gone through all these different kind of stylistic modes and things, you never really know where people are entering in with what you're doing. So, whatever conceptions people have is okay.
Howdy.
Oh, hey.
What's up?
Hey.
I have a question based off of sort of an earlier question also, since you're coming from Eau Claire, where I know Bryce and Justin Vernon are sort of looking into or trying to build a festival out of collaboration and sort of the collaborative spirit.
Yeah.
So since the band is such a sort of solo project, or at least was born out of that, I'm curious about moments in the band's history where collaborations, whether it's with the different forms of the ensemble, the backing band, or also with other collaborators even Tyonde Braxton on the last album, specific moments where you found yourself pushed as an artist through your collaborators?
That's a great question. Actually on this most recent tour, with the new vocalists in the band, I feel incredibly pushed is maybe not the right word, but just challenged to, because I'll try not to be too self-deprecating, but I write these melodies that are really hard for me to sing, and that's always that's a challenge for me. It's one of the things that I love about working with other singers, that they can just render the moves much more, not only easily, but they can imbue them with feeling beyond that. Whereas for me, a lot of the times the feeling that I'm giving the melody is strife, which I'm all right with. And it's true, that's true to me. So, but but yeah, actually, Kristen and Maya both like have studied voice and everything, and so to be able to learn from them and go through things and like learn things about my voice and singing and things has been really, really amazing. I feel like that's true of this era of the band. It's true of every era of the band where I learn from the singers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, thanks for all the brilliant music. Hi.
Oh,
Back here.
hey.
Yeah. Thanks for the brilliant music. I'm wondering what the story or meaning is behind your red and blue like logo.
Oh yeah. It started out as like a picture that I drew of some friends like a really long time ago. I think it was in college, and the three of us had gone up to my parents' house for like the weekend. My parents were away, and like in the morning, like one of the mornings, they were just looking at each other at like the coffee table, and they were like super in love. And so they were just like looking at each other, and I think that was like that became like the super earliest version of the logo. That's from like Slaves, Graves, and Ballads. And then I think the meaning, and at that point, actually the earliest version of it, the colors were green and yellow. Little known fact. And then, I don't know, it became red and blue kind of arbitrarily, like those are such resonant colors. And then over time, it's kind of like it seems to shift what it means or what it could mean. And I think that's why I'm still kind of interested, it still comes up.
Hi, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your creative process when it comes to putting music videos with your work.
Yeah. Thanks. I feel like that's something that I'm still like, still developing in real time. The videos for the self-titled album were ones that we spent a ton of time on, and I think that it's just the same as it's just mood. You have a mood board.
Yeah.
Got like a Pinterest.
All right.
Actually, I don't like Pinterest, but Pinterest seems designed to do that, but then it never works.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You know what I'm talking about? God. But yeah, I mean, just letting like images accrue and seeing if they can work together or seeing if there's a relationship between those images. I'm really like, I know nothing about it. And so I'm approaching it intuitively.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. It's kind of a nerdy question, but I was wondering, you had mentioned that you had a lot of demos from Swing Low Magellan that you thought that you might release at some point, and I was just kind of wondering, do you ever use like any of your older work in your newer material, or is it just kind of once that era is over, it's kind of dead?
It kind of feels that way. For a while, I was like, oh man, these swing low. But now I don't know. I feel like I'm in a different place, and so yeah. It's like you edit down, and I think shortly after you've made those edits, sometimes you're like, oh damn, like that one, the thing that I left on the cutting room floor was like the best part of the whole thing. And then a little more time goes on, you're like, nah, I did it right. So that's about how I feel.
You would work with like a number of artists from like Kanye West to Dev Hynes, Solange, Towanda Braxton, many more, I'm sure. And I'm just wondering if there's any musical artists you'd like to work with because you think that, one, you might be able to just make really fun, catchy music with them, or two, because you think that you appreciate their ability to write music and you think that working with them might push you or have you perceive music in a way that you had not thought before.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to think of specific people. It's been, yeah, I mean, this will sound like a cop-out, but it's just been, like, since moving to LA and building this studio, it's really just been, like, such a daily routine of, like, going to work and just, like, working on music and then stopping when you have to stop. I haven't really, like, thought about it. I would love to work with Joni. I think she's really amazing. Yeah. Let me think on it.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. But I was listening some Ween recently.
Oh.
And Play It Off Legit.
Yeah.
I feel like there may be some Play It Off Legit, maybe on some Slave Graves and Ballads.
Really?
Is there a Ween DP connection? Does that exist, or was this me?
It's not you. It's not you. My brother was like super into Ween, and so when I was like pretty young and maybe more formative in my tastes, no. I think that Pure Guava has some super interesting music on it. Yeah.
So the Ween
For
was
sure.
Ween was in the ether. It was in the zeitgeist. Ween was in the ether, like when you were growing up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for your music. What's your favorite Dylan record?
We're at the point of the Q&A where it's what you damn, I don't know. I mean, it shifts from time to time. I don't have a static favorite, like a hard and fast, but I mess with all of them.
Yeah.
I drop off in the 90s, but yeah.
I've got another question from Facebook. A fan called Ben Tolls would like you to address your obsession with birds. He mentions a number of music videos in which birds appear, Breakthrough, all the way back to The Glad Fact, particularly the eagles and the finches that are featured. Could you expand on your...
Yeah, I mean, in each instance, it feels sort of specific, but to zoom out, it's clear that there's a pattern. And so, with the breakthrough, the person that I'm dating right now, whenever she would hear a rough version of Breakthrough, she'd be like, "Oh, that's the song that's like the birds singing to each other." That's what the guitar riff sounded like to her. So when Sean Pecknold submitted that treatment that was all about just birds and stuff, singing to birds, birds singing to me, I was like, that's the one. And so that, that one really had very little to do with me. And then the finches, I don't really remember. It was a really long time ago. But I think it was just something about the kind of like drab, unremarkable character of them, just huddled and cold in the like shrubbery of like a parking lot in New Haven. I felt for them, yeah. And but then they had their own way of being with each other, and they have their own dynamics and everything. So. Yeah, I was fascinated by the finches. And then my parents are like super into birding as well. They say the couple that birds together stays together. And so I grew up in that household.
Hi. I noticed recently that in a lot of the recent journalism about this album that's coming out and the last album, the Getty address got mentioned in like the write-ups or whatever, and I was just curious about how you feel about that kind of, them referencing that in relation to what you're doing now, and just like what Also, I just kind of want to know how you recorded that album because it sounds really interesting.
Cool. I love talking about the Getty Address. No, I like that. That's a point of reference for these albums, and like for me, like that, like for people that don't know, it's like an album that I made super long time ago in 2005, and it's basically like recordings that I made of like these chamber parts, string quartet, and wind octet layered over. It was the first time that I like made, just was trying to make beats out of percussion samples in the edit window of Pro Tools. So it's kind of a strange record, but for me, I learned so much in making that record, just about like juxtaposition, collage, and like artifice and everything. I don't know. And I think that is an aspect of these productions that I'm doing now, engaging with the artifice of the recording, man. And playing in the space between something that's performed and real and has an ambience against the pure kind of on or off nature of digital sound and everything. So I think it's apt. I haven't actually seen that as much, but I like that. So I like that. As far as making the album, I was in college, and I had the college that I went to. You could like apply for, if you had a independent project or something like that, you could apply for a grant to get money to do this thing. And so I started I don't remember if it was an S Corp or something, but it was called the Orchestral Society for the Preservation of the Orchestra. And I was funneling money from the school into that entity and paying for these chamber recordings that I was making. And the musicians and everything were like studying at the school and everything, so they're really good players. And then it's right when I started. It's right when I had come off of using like Tascam, cassette 4 tracks, cassette 8 tracks, and there was at that time a free version of Pro Tools that you could just use, but it only had 8 tracks. And so I recorded everything. There were like millions and millions of sessions, there were a lot of sessions. And everything I would make 8 tracks, bounce it down to a stereo stem. So there would be like the cello session and the choir session, and it taught me a lot actually about mixing as well, like mixing reductively in that way. So in the end, you're just bringing. We arrived in Nerdland. I'm sorry. You just have stereo stems of the various elements of the recording, and that's how I did it.
I think you actually answered in that Facebook question as well.
All right.
Diego Castaneda asked, has higher education been useful towards your success in your musical career? So you definitely answered that.
I'm sure it has. At the time that I was in college, I didn't like it, and I felt sort of cynical about what seemed like people's lack of seriousness and how that's funny, and just how these schools are feeders to create the next generation of American power elite and things, and I just wanted to learn about music, and I didn't feel like I was in the right place.
We have time for about 1 or 2 questions still. Does anybody in the audience have any? I'll come on over.
Thank you guys for hanging in. I feel like I'm fading a little bit. I'm gonna
You're doing great.
Thank you.
So you're in LA. You've been in LA for 3 years.
Yeah.
And you
Sounds
mentioned in
right.
passing that you built a studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you speak more to that? And my second question is, what are your LA recommendations?
Okay. Well, actually, starting with the second one, I really almost don't even have anything. It's like I don't know my way around in LA. I'm very East Side, and I just have my things that I do, and I go to my house in the studio, But Civil Coffee on Figueroa, I'll shout it out. It's really good. They have Heart Roasters from Portland. Yeah, Proof Bakery in Atwater. We'll do this later. But yeah, I was out in LA a bunch, doing, when I was wanting to collaborate and produce more broadly. And I got to thinking man, if there was a space that I could work in while I was out here, that would be cool. And I saw a space, that was, so I drove around one day, and actually Brett, my manager who was here, I guess he got bored. Oh, there he is. He was like, oh, you should check out this one place. I know they have some production rooms available. And I went out there, and it was a total ripoff. But then there was a sign on a building right next door, just a handwritten sign on a piece of cardboard. And I was like, that might be worth looking into. And so I found a great space, and I couldn't have built a zone like that here, I don't think. But also, it's funny. Do you guys know Ariel Rekstad, the producer? He came when I finished building it. He came over, and he was kind of looking around. He was like, "Man, only a New Yorker could have built this in LA. It's just because I didn't know any better." So, yeah, and just it was it was it's a random area and everything. So maybe if you approach that attitude in New York, where just you're, because I'm inclined to look at right, yeah, I mean, yeah.
We have time for one more question, if there is one. All right, up front.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
So I saw you play a show in Dennis, Cape Cod, was it? A very long time ago.
Yeah.
And you played a song that I can't find anywhere.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube under the name Scrappy Nephew.
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. I wanted to know if you have any plans for this song. It's a great song. And
Wow.
Are you going to record it, release it, or are you just going to kind of let it live on this YouTube space?
Well, to be a little bit nerdy, that's also that might have been the first thing that I wrote in the tuning where the high E string is dropped down to D as well, and a bunch of the new record is in that tuning. And so the other day, or on this last tour or something, suddenly I was like, wait, what is that? And I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh man, yeah. It was also called Norman Schwarzkopf, that song. So no, I don't. I think that one might be good. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's stuff on the new album to look forward to.
Oh yeah. I think so. Yeah, that's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, but you guys all have it now, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to Dave.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you.